Hey guys, welcome to my YouTube channel. In this video demonstration, I'm going to demonstrate how to deploy in React app using Nginx and secure it with Let's Encrypt SSL certificate. So in the Christmas holiday, I got a I got an opportunity to learn in React app. So I built one app using React. So that's the app I'm going to deploy here. So first of all, I will show you how to show you running on my development environment, and then later we will actually create a build file and transfer that build file to the Nginx server and deploy it using Nginx. Okay, so first thing first, let's see how this app is in my local development environment. So as you can see, this is my these are the files. I'm in the directory where my app files and folders are. So I'm just going to run npm start. Okay, so as you can see, the app is now you can see on the port 3000. So this is the app running on the local environment. So I will show you a few more things what we can what this app can do. For example, we can type an item, let's say the grocery item, banana, and the banana falls under fresh produce, and we can add it now. So it counts the number of the item. Yeah, so right now we have total one item, and it's under fresh produce category, banana. So if I add again banana, so it remembers what I typed before. It remembers banana as well as the category, and I just can click that one and add, but it will prompt me the item is already there. So I can select no or yes, but I will go with yes this for this time. Now let me add different category. Let's say I want something, let's say bread, and bread comes under bakery item, and I want to add it. So it closes the previous category and only opens this the recent category at the top. So let me add one more item. Let's say I'm adding um, some sort of pastry. I hope that is a bakery item, and let me select this one and hit enter. So we just, oh, what did I select it? Sorry, I selected frozen food. I'm sorry. That's okay anyway. So this is how you can see we can add the item, and the item comes under its own category. That actually makes user to figure out where to find these items in the big supermarket. So it gives them the categorization, like they can manage where to which aisle to go to find these items. And one more thing, now you can see your shopping list for today. There are altogether 4 items. So under frozen food there is 1, under bakery item 1, and under fresh produce 2. So if I open one of this category, the rest of the category remains closed. Okay, now what happens if I click here? I bought that item, so as soon as I click that, it creates this another category, let's say checked off items, and if I click here I can see the item checked off, and if I click, yeah, it's going to the checked off, and yeah, so now the shopping list is clear, and it also keep record of the difference between the shopping in the last day. Whenever the shopping was done, and the last shopping. So it gives you the idea of when was the shopping done in the last time, and then not only that, now we can see this. So these are the items you actually purchased. But sometimes if you don't want to delete this, you can delete the item from here. But if you want to keep it, you just click it, it go back into its own category. And we can delete, and I can click here and delete. So let's see if I refresh this page. Sorry, it remembers which category is open, and I can just pass it. I'm sorry, and now let me delete this. So if I go ahead and type the item, we just type bread, it gives all the options: bread, banana. So let's go with the banana again and add. Okay, this is the app, and let's deploy this app um, on the Nginx server. Okay, so let's walk step by step here. The first thing we will do is we will be using Linode as our remote server, as a cloud service server, and then we will first see how to set up Linux server securely. After we set up Linux server, next thing would be to install Nginx and configure Nginx, and once and then we need to pass. Then after that, we need to. I'm going to use Namecheap to register domain. So register the domain using a record, and then we will try to access our server with the domain name, and finally we will use Let's Encrypt SSL certificate to make the connection with encryption. Okay, so this is the total plan we are going to do. Okay, and then now we can start. Let's start with getting I already have our server running, so this is the same app which is running right now, and this is online, and I will give you the link to this app as well. So let's get a new Linode server. New Linode. I'm going to use Ubuntu 22.04, and since I'm near Australia, I'm going to select Australia. And definitely I'm not going to use expensive one, just a Nanode 1 GB, that's sufficient for me, and create Linode. It will take a moment, and I'll come back as soon as it's up and ready. Okay, now the server is up and running. So what I do is I will grab the public IP address, and yeah, so I'm going to Control C this one and clear the screen, and on this terminal we will be working. Okay, now we have our server up and ready. That's completely empty, blank, there is nothing. So we need to set up everything from scratch. The first thing first, let's log into the server as a root, and we can say yes, and I have provide the password. Okay, now we are in. Let me clear this screen. The first thing first I like to do, or we need to do, is update the system. Okay, so let's update the system. Apt update. Okay, update is just completed. Now the second thing is we need to create a user, system user, to manage this server, right? So let's create this system user. Add user. I will give it a name. Since I'm going to deploy React app here, I want to make it React username. You can give any name you like. So React. So give it a password. I'm not giving here anything, just hit enter. Okay, now we have user. Now this user can't do anything because it doesn't have any permissions to do anything, so we need to make it admin. Okay, so let's promote it to admin. uh, User mod append to group, sudo, and our user is React. Now the React is promoted to admin now, so it can do admin level tasks with using sudo. Okay, now since we have this user ready, now what we need to do is let's set up key based authentication. So let me exit out from here, and I can log back to this server as user React, and I need to supply the password, right? Yeah, and I'm in. But this creates a vulnerability. You know what that is? A hacker can actually try brute force using this. If they find the username, they can try log in with different combination of password, and they can eventually log in. And once they are logged in, of course they can do anything. So having this password based authentication is actually a bad idea. So we are going to set up key based authentication. So how to do that? Let me exit again. So I'm on a local computer now. Let me clear my screen. So on my local computer, the computer that I use to access my server, I need to generate RSA key. Okay, so I already have generated this RSA key. I don't need to generate it now, but I will show you how to do it. But I will not complete the process, otherwise it will overwrite. Okay, so this is what you need to do to create RSA key pair. So simply type SSH. If you hit tab, it will give a lot of options, but the options you need to go with is dash key gen and dash bit. Let's make it 4096, and default type is RSA, and now you can hit enter. It's going to store that public private RSA key pair in the given location, right? But I already have my RSA key pair, so I'm not going to override this because I'm also using this in different other project. So I'm just going to cancel out from here, but this is how you create the key pair. Now the second thing is, once you have this key pair, how do you actually pass this pass the public key? You keep the private key with you, but you need to pass the public key to the server so that you can authenticate using your private key, right? How do you pass it? This is very simple. So simply type SSH and hit tab. It gives you all these options. What you need is copy ID, and what's the name of the user? React @ and what is the server IP address? I forgot that. I will copy it again from here and go back, and yeah. So once we hit enter, it will actually pass this this private key to the remote server, and I will show you where does it located. Yeah, now we need to verify with providing the password. Okay, good. Now let's try login again. I will copy that. I paste here. Oh, sorry, my bad. I need to remove that apostrophe. And as you can see, now the server actually did not prompt me for any password. It directly gave me access to the server, right? So which is really good. And let me show you where to find that public key. If I do ls-la, I can see .ssh folder, and let me list what is inside. As you can see, inside there is a file authorized keys. So this is where my public key is stored. Okay, let me see what is there. this is the key, right? So I really don't care about this public key. I can give it to anyone because it's the public key, right? That's why I'm exposing you, but I will not expose you the private key, because private key is the key that will unlock, in a way, um, this one. So now we can access to this server without providing password, but still I can log into the server as a root user. Let me show you that. Let me exit out from here. Let's say hacker try to log in as a root, and hacker can still try different combination of the password, for example, and have access. That's a terrible thing, right? So we want to disable root login. And not only that, let me exit one more time again, and let me try to access as some random user. Let's say I will give it a Rambo, and as you can see, it is prompting for the password. I mean, let's say if our system has a multiple users, and they can access with your password, then this is not a good idea. We need to disable password authentication, and yeah, so we need to do this. So what I'm going to do is, now I'm logging to the server and do that, so that we will disable root login, as well as we will disable password based authentication. I mean, yeah. So how to do that? In a Linux, everything is file, so we need to find a file where there is this line that says permit root login, yes or no, right? So we need to find where that file is. So I will use one trick. So grep, obviously with sudo grep dash I for in case insensitive, and R for read what? Permit root login. So if I, and where do you want to look for that? I know it's in the etc file. I don't need to go far. So just do that. Give it a password, and it exactly shows you where to find that line. Permit root login. As you can see, permit root login, yes. That line is found in this path, in this ss. Okay, sorry. In this file. So we can directly override permit root login yes to no by using set command. So I would be using set command sudo sed -i for in place change. So we are doing substitution for this. We're substituting permit root login yes with this no. Simply say no, and we need to provide the path where that file is. So shift, and once I hit enter, it will change. So we can do again that grep search, and we can see now permit root login is no, right? That's good. So after this, and one more thing, we need to also find the line that says password based authentication yes to no. So let's find again sudo grep -ir. The line we're looking for is password authentication. I know that exists somewhere, but in the etc file, and we can find here password authentication is set to yes in that file. So I will just copy that file here and use a set command to override this. So we're going to substitute. As per substitute, we are matching for this line, password authentication yes, and we are replacing that one with no. So just change yes to no and just hit enter. After that, just run the same command, you should see no. Now we have changed the file, but again in Linux we need to reload the service, in this case SSH service. Okay, so let's do that. Sudo service SSH reload, and yeah, it's quick. So also let's confirm that actually there are no issue by checking the service status, because this is the most important critical service SSH status. As you can see, service is running and it's enabled, which is good. Listening on a port 22, fabulous. So let's clear this screen. Now I can safely exit from here, and let me try login as a root. What happens now? Okay, hacker, you have no chance to hack my Linux box now. It's completely safe. Root access not allowed. Even if you try as somebody else, let's say, it doesn't prompt for the password, right? Now only for the person who hold the key, that private key associated with the public key that we send to the server, can log in without worrying about password. So we don't need to worry about the strength of the password or anything like that. It's safe. Now this is the very important step we just covered. Now what is next? The next thing can be anything, but what do you do? Let me think. Okay, the next thing should be giving it a name. Right now, host name. You may have many servers to manage, but giving it a descriptive name actually help you which server you are working on your terminal, right? So right now it simply says localhost, and the user is React, as you can see from here. So it's not descriptive. We need to give it a proper host name, like a kind of like an address, house name. Let's give it a host name. So sudo host name ctl set host name, and I will give it a host name React React server. Nah, just give it a React. Okay, yeah, I will remember it is, this server is for deploying, serving the React files. So give that one, and confirm with your password. The host name is React. You can confirm by typing host name, it will give that React. But if we let's say if the system goes through booting process, then it will not persist the host name. So we need to update this new host name in the host file. So how to do that? Again, let me use encrypt command, okay, and read the line for localhost at etc host. As you can see right now, this is our localhost IP, and its name is localhost. What I want to do is I want to replace this localhost with React. So again, I'm going to use set command. I don't need to do it, but I'm just trying to show you how to use different Linux tools that can help us in making automation script. Sudo -i. We type here. We are going to find. Now this is a bit tricky. There can be lots of localhost is here, localhost is here. There are many lines. There could be many lines with localhost. So we only want to update the line that starts with this. So what do I do is, first of all, starting with, that's the symbol for starting with, paste this. If that any line found with starting with this line, then do the substitute for localhost. Yeah, and what is the host name? React. And yeah, and we need to path the file. Where is the etc host? Now let me do grep, and as you can see, oh, sorry, my bad. I can't do localhost now. I need to do React, and as you can see, now this localhost has this host name. That's nice. So now we have host name set up, but still it is appearing as a localhost. So if I log out and log back in, I will see that new name here. That's nice. Okay, this is very important. We just did. Now we know where we are, which server we are dealing with. Okay, so now what is the next thing to do? So we already have done good things so far, giving it host name and giving it only the user with key able to access, and no hacker can access this. We have done pretty good job, but this time we also need to do few more other security thing. For example, we need to install firewall, and because this server only serve HTTP web page, so we only want to allow HTTP traffic, right? Or if we, after we set up let's encrypt SSL certificate, we will disable HTTP traffic and enable only allow for HTTPS traffic. So the setting of firewall is very important, and let's do that. And on Ubuntu they have UFW, uncomplicated firewall. So let's do that. It's how to install that. If you don't have it, sudo, before installing any new package, make sure to update the system first. -y. Oh, my bad. Sudo apt update -y. Alrighty, and now we install UFW, uncomplicated firewall. So apt install UFW. Looks like it is already installed. Yeah. So now, but it is UFW is installed, but it's not active, and there are no rules. So first of all, we need to know what traffic we want to let in, right? And this is stateful firewall. So what can come in also can go out. So we just need to make a rule saying what can come in. Okay, so let's do it. Sudo UFW. We want to allow what? The first and foremost, we want to allow the user admin remotely using SSH, right? So we need to allow the SSH service. Sudo UFW allow SSH. This is very important. If you don't allow this, you cannot log in again once the rules are effective. And second thing is sudo UFW allow. Since we are hosting web server, we need to allow for HTTP traffic. Again, I'm also going to use UFW allow HTTPS traffic as well. Nice. So let's see. Now let's enable this. All these rules. Sudo UFW enable, and just give it a confirmation with Y. So once you hit Y, the rule will be effective. For example, if you haven't allow SSH traffic, your connection will go down, and you can't access the server anymore. So make sure that you allow SSH traffic. when you are actually working on the remote server with SSH. That's very important. Hit enter. Yes. Now let's see the rules. Sudo ufw status. Now you can see we have port 22 open from anywhere. That's fine. It really doesn't matter. 80 from anywhere. That's fine. Popo 3 from anywhere. All good. Now we're good here. Now what is the next thing to do? Okay, so now this is the last step for system setting up. Right now if I do date, and I can see this is a February 2nd, 12:31:45 UTC, which is not good for me because I'm from Melbourne. As you can see, my time is up here. That's my time, February 2nd, yes, but 11:32 AM. So I want to set the system time according to my local time zone. So we need to do that. So right now we can see, let's use this time date CTL. As you can see, this is the local time, which is not right from my local zone. And as you can see, and the time zone is this here. It's, I don't know what that is, but I need to set that to Australia, Melbourne, because I live in Melbourne, and my users are from Melbourne, so I want to set that to the Melbourne time zone. So how to do that? There is a steps that I like to take. Let's first of all find how that time zone is set right now. So there's one way to do it. ls in a lengthy form. If I do etc local time, I can see there is a symbolic link from where to where. You can see this is the path to this time zone HC UTC. From that file we have a symbolic link to HC local time. So now we need to replace this with something like USR share zone info Australia Melbourne, right? So let's find where the Melbourne file is. Again, that's simple to do it. Sudo grep case insensitive, read the line. I'm trying to find Melbourne, and I know where to look for USR and share. Just type and zone info. I can see in the same format here, zone info. So grep okay, let's go to this file, zone info, control shift C, cd, yeah, and if I do this, they'll countries. Let's go to Australia, and if I hit ls, there should be Melbourne somewhere. If I just type I can see there is only one Melbourne. So let's get the real path to Melbourne file. So this is a real path from here to here. I'm copying it, control shift C, and I'm going to the home directory. Now what I'm doing now from the home directory is creating a symbolic link. So sudo symbolic link, so link ln for link dash yes for symbolic, but I need to create the new symbolic link forcefully. So f and type that path and to HC local time. So we're creating symbolic link from this file, actually the file Melbourne. We need to give the complete path to HC local time. That's how we set the local time to Melbourne time zone. Hit enter, Now let's run date. As you can see, immediately 11:36:07 is, you can see here on the top on my PC. So now I'm in the same time zone. Let me run one more time that time date serial. As you can see, now our time zone is Australia, Melbourne, which is good. But and it also has NTP service active, which is good, right? So we don't need to do anything. So this is where we finish setting up this Linux server. So and then we will continue um, doing more configurations. Now this is the time where we install Nginx and configure it to serve the React build files, the static asset. That's what they say. Okay. So how to do it? So we have a couple of steps here. So the first thing first, we need to install Nginx, but before that we need to update the system package, right? So sudo apt update -y, give it a password. Yep, let me clear this screen, and now we can install Nginx. Sudo apt install -y Nginx. Alrighty, so Nginx is installed. So if I check the service status, sudo, I should be able to see it's up and running. Service Nginx status, yes, it's running, and the state is enabled, which is good. Now I should be able to access this, the default page. So just let me grab the public IP address from here and type that http and this. I should be able to see that page. Yeah, so this is a welcome page, and now we need to, when we access this IP address, now we want to display, say, hello world. So as a test, before we actually pass our build file to Nginx, let's do a simple test so that we see something like hello world, something like that. Okay, so how to do that? First thing first, so since that's a new site that we are going to launch, so we need to create a new site. So how to create the new site? What I do is I will copy the existing default site to the new site that I'm going to deploy. That's how then I can have all the config lines I need. So what I mean, I will show you. Okay, let me sudo copy at etc, just type Nginx and type sites and give the options. So we're going to available, and if you hit tab, you can see there's a default, only default file. So that's the default site, and we're copying that file over to our new file. So in the same Nginx sites available in the same directory, but the new site, I want to give it a name, right? So we can give it any name according to our site. So what's going to be our site name? Let's say if we access our site at, let's say, so it's basically this app is a grocery app. So I want to give it a name. Let's say healthy basket or something. I don't know. I'm not being creative. I'm not creative at the moment, but let's give it some name. Let's say grocery, something like I want to give it name like, give it a name, any name that makes sense to you, and that tells that's how you know, oh, this is this side. uh, I'll give it a name, uh, basket. Okay, at the moment you can give it any name. I'll give it basket. So hit enter. Now, so let's open the basket site. Sudo nano Etsy Nginx sites available in basket. So we need to change few things here right now, because we copied, it's a listen 80 default server, so we're going to remove that default server from there. It's not a default server. We're going to remove this line, and yes, so as you can see, the root, this line, root directory. So right now the root directory is var www html, but I want to make it distinct, so I will make a different one. Root directory would be basket. So we haven't created this directory yet, but this is where we're going to place all our build files, the static files, and the server name. Okay, right now the server name, we're going to replace that with the IP address. Again, let me grab the IP address from here and place there. And the location, keep this as it is, and we can just Control O, hit enter, Control X. Now we need to create the directory which we just set in the site. So let's do that. So sudo mkdir -b for creating the parent directory if it doesn't exist, var www html and basket, hit enter. Now it's created, that directory is created, but right now if I do ls -ld to see the permission assigned to this, so only the root is the main user, and the group also root can do read write operation on this directory. So that's the problem. The problem that can be very problem when we actually transfer file from our local computer as a user React, because this React user has no read write or execute permission here. So we need to give this permission to this the React user, as well as we need to modify the permission for main user and the group and pro other. So for other we want to keep very limited permission. Let's do that. So sudo chown recursively, if I pass $user, that means the current user, dollar, that's a variable, user var www html basket. Okay, now let me check one more time. Now React user has this permission, so obviously on this directory the main React user can do read write execute, and the group can do read and execute. Okay, that sounds good, but I want to change the permission some little bit different here. Sudo chmod recursively, I want to give the React 7 and main group of the member of the React 7 but only for read permission for other. They can read, but they can't write, they can't execute. Var w html basket. So we have permission set. So what is next? The next thing is we have created this new site basket, but this site is not enabled, so we need to enable this new site. That's how Nginx will know to serve this. Okay, now let's create a symbolic link from sites available to sites enabled. Okay, so how we do that? Sudo symbolic link, ln for link. Yes, from where? From etc Nginx sites available. And what's the site that we're trying to create link? Basket to etc Nginx sites enabled. That's all. So what do we do is, once I hit enter, and after this, the most important step is to check that the Nginx configuration is okay. So to do that, sudo nginx -t, and as you can see, the test is successful. Now for the demonstration, let's create a index.html file that simply says hello world, and we can see that from our browser. Sudo nano var www.html and the basket. Inside that, I'm going to create index.html file. I'll say hello world. Yeah, that's it. Save it. Now we need to reload Nginx. Sudo service nginx reload. Now let me go to the browser and refresh this page. Okay, something interesting, forbidden. Okay, now it's a good opportunity to troubleshoot this problem. What could be the issue? Well, there's one place where you can see is the error log. So what we do is cd var log and nginx. Okay, right now there's error log. So what I do is sudo show, I become a root, and vi error log. So as you can see, this line is forbidden, permission denied. Okay, it's a permission denied problem. Okay, so let me just get out of this. So exit from the root. Okay, so problem is permission denied. Okay, so let me do ls -ld for var html and basket. It's react. Let me do this. Sudo chmod recursively 7 for react and 7, and we just gave read. Maybe let's add read and execute. So 4 plus 1 5 and to var html basket, and then let's reload nginx service nginx reload, go back and refresh this page. ah yeah. So now we know the permission should be um, like this. Let me show that one more time. For the other user, it should be read as well as execute. Okay, good. So now we can see the page is, we can access the page from here. That's very good. But now how do we access over, let's say something like the name or something? So to do that, we need to register the domain name. So I'm gonna do that. So first of all, I'm gonna grab my IP address. So, and I already have my open the name chip, and I'm going to add a new A record. Okay, so A record, and in place of host, how I like to okay, basket. Let's give it the subdomain basket, and give the IP address, and save it. So let's see if I can access. What I'm gonna do is access from here. HTTP basket is the subdomain. ProvinKC is the .com is my domain name. Okay. Let me check one more time. Basket. Is that the right public IP address? Okay. We may need to do a few more things here. Let me exit from here. Ns lookup basket.provinkc.com. Yeah, so right now it hasn't propagated fully, but once it's propagated fully, it's that basket.provinkc.com should be we should be able to resolve that to our IP address. So we need to wait until then. So okay, so I actually waited for some minutes, but still that new subdomain hasn't propagated, so I decided to go with just the IP address. I'm sorry for that, but I just showed you the every step that you should take. So according to that, I actually, now we have our server name back to the IP address. So once that subdomain is successfully propagated, we could use the subdomain here. For example, basket.provinkc.com, we could put it here and we could access on that domain. But now, since it didn't finish, I'm using the server IP address. Okay. Now, so now our Nginx server is up and running. Now we need to send our build file to this to the site directory, okay. So right now there is one index.html file already in the site directory. We need to remove that before we pass our the build to be served. So I'm going to remove that. So sudo rm bar html basket and index. So I'm going to remove that, and I'm going to exit. So in my local environment, I already have a build file here, so I don't need to build anything, but I am willing to show you how to do that. So how we do this actually is, let me remove the build file already present there. Okay, sorry. So let's build file. npm. As you can see, there is no build folder at the moment, so just run npm run build. take some time. Okay, let me clear this, and if I just list this directory, I can see there's a build folder, and let me also list what is inside the build. We can see all these things, so the static asset and index.html. So let us pass this container build file to the remote server. So how we do that? SCP, we can use SCP -r for recursively build, but we're not sending build folder itself, we're sending the content of the build folder, which means files and subfolders. Where we're sending that to React, and again we need the IP address, and I will go and copy that from here. Yep, and paste that here, and we need to also provide the path to the site directory, which we know var www html and basket, right? So let's hit enter. It's going, that's good. Now since now we can log back in, so simply let me delete this and just SSH and hit enter. So we are on the remote server now. Let me see what's in our site directory, var www html and the basket. We can see we have all the static files and the folders we need to serve our React app. Now I'm going to do still, as you can see here, it's serving the hello world, right? Or if I refresh, as you can see, my app is there, but even without me having to reload it. That's interesting. So right now you can see my app is there, and let's do for some testing. So if I can add a new item, so let's add mango, and mango comes under fresh produce, and let's add. Okay, as you can see there's a category fresh produce. There's only one item under that category. Let me add one more item under that category, banana, and fresh produce. Okay, banana is there, it comes at the top, and there are two items under that category. Add another item in a different category. Let's add milk, we need milk, so it will go to milk, dairy product, and oh sorry, my bad. Yep, and dairy product is milk, but the fresh produce category is now collapsed. Let me add milk there. You should get the options, click there and add item. It gives this warning alert, yes, add it. So it's working. Now let me remove from here, and you can see the checked off items, and if you want to put it back, it goes back. Let me remove all from the category, and once remove from all, so we get the different UI, and let's remove it from here. Okay, so our app is now available, but unfortunately we didn't have the domain name to access this, but on the only using the server IP address. Now let's go ahead, and as you can see here, still it says connection to the site is not secure. So let's make it secure. Okay, that's the next main goal. So what do we do here? What we do here is we need to install, I'm going to use Let's Encrypt, so we need to install some dependencies. Okay, so we need two dependencies. Okay, before we do that, let's update the system. Sudo apt update -y. Let me clear this one, and let me install sudo apt install. We need a shortbot and Python 3 dash I think it's Nginx. Click no. Okay, yeah. Short. If you hit the tab, you give you the option shortboard, and it's Nginx. Yep. Hit enter and hit enter. Okay, now let's obtain the SSL certificate, which is very simple. Sudo just type shortbot and dash for Nginx. If it was like, for example, Apache, you would type, for example, Apache, I guess. Yeah, for Nginx, and we need to give the domain name, but right now we don't have a domain name, so we give just the IP address, right? Copy that one and paste here and hit enter. Okay, I see a problem here. The problem is actually I can't obtain SSL certificate only for the IP. I didn't know this, so we need to wait until we can actually get the IP address. Let me see if we already let me open my terminal from the local laptop, and if I can, before that, let me check. We have this, I have this demo, so I use that demo that I changed. Let me see if I can resolve the demo. ns lookup demo is the subdomain and Probin Casey is the domain name I bought a year ago. Still it's not propagated. It will take some time, so unfortunately we need to stop here. So after this, we should be able to access our server using HTTPS. So without any delay, let me take opportunity to show my new app that which is up and running. So I'm going to remove this and I'm going to access my real app, which I have already deployed, which is HTTPS. So I did all steps are same, which I did, and just type divine provisions, very difficult to type, and provincasey.com, hit enter. App is here, as you can see, and it's secure. So I'm sorry that I could not show you the complete process, but this is how we actually secure the connections. Thanks for watching this video. See you in other videos where I will show you guys deploying application. Maybe I will come with new video where I will show you how to actually containerize this app and deploy in AWS platform or something. Okay, until see you on next time.